This is a really great start to the season 2 of The Mandalorian. Holy shit! Sorry, bit too excited here. So episode 1, or chapter 9 as it is more properly called, is titled The Marshal. And it co-stars Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth, the titular marshal. He's a cowboy of sorts, as one can imagine, and Oliphant does very well in this role. So the story is about Oliphant's titular marshal teaming up with Pedro Pascal's titular Mandalorian to protect his small town from the terrors of a great dragon. In order to slay the beast, they have to form an uneasy alliance with the overly aggressive Sand People. Now, this is one of the reasons why I love this episode so goddamn much, is because it gave me such a huge appreciation, finally, for the Tuscan Raiders, because previously, I only really looked at these guys as, the memes they are. They're sort of a joke in Star Wars with the way they sound and the way they look, and they're not exactly like a major race in this universe. They only appear every once in a while, particularly in episode 4, but aside from that, they never really appeared very much, just in cameos. But this episode, chapter 9, features them in a particularly huge way, and it showcases their culture, their way of life, and so on and so forth, how they generally think and act, and the characters have conversations with them. With the freaking Tuscan Raiders, and if you are familiar with them, you know how they sound and how their language sounds. And I was like, how would a conversation with these dudes look and sound like? And this episode gives us plenty of that. And I was like, wow, that's honestly extremely interesting. So yeah, this is definitely a huge highlight of the episode for me. Aside from that, we also finally see who managed to snag Boba Fett's armor, which was rumored way back that Boba Fett and his armor was going to feature heavily in season 2. And aside from that, spoilers! 3, 2, 1. Still here? Alright, spoilers. Aside from that, the man himself, Boba Fett, makes an appearance in this episode, which creates all sorts of, hype about the succeeding episodes. Like, damn, like what would an encounter between him and Din Djarin look like? So lots of awesome stuff ahead for this season for sure. And of course, the special effects and the action does not disappoint. The Mandalorian series has this high expectation about it because of, how well season 1 was executed and received, that it's actually even better than some of the feature films themselves. And I'm one of those people. I think that the Mandalorian series is much better than some of the actual Star Wars movies. And yeah, this episode definitely continues that trend. The special effects and the action look like they definitely belong on the big screen. The fight with the aforementioned Krayt Dragon itself is just spectacular, and wow, just freaking Star Wars, wow. So, because of all of this, I really gotta give this episode a freaking 10 out of 10. I think it's the first 10 out of 10 I've ever given in one of my reviews for this YouTube channel of mine.
This is the way.
And it very much deserves it. It's a pretty perfect start to season 2 of The Mandalorian, and it rightfully sets up some very high expectations for the rest of the episodes to follow, and I'm really looking forward to watching all of that. Speaking of future episodes, my plan right now is to not review every single episode. Of course, I gotta review the first one, right? And I'm gonna do the same with WandaVision next month. But the plan right now is not to review all of the episodes, but I will definitely do a review for the season as a whole when it ends in like 2 or 3 months. In the meantime, I'd like to know what you guys thought. Did you see the first episode of The Mandalorian? Do you agree with me that it's a pretty perfect start to the season? Or did you think less of it? Please leave me a comment down below so we can discuss it. And this has been Asian Action Actor. If you like my review of the first episode of The Mandalorian titled Chapter 9, The Marshal, please click like down below and subscribe so you won't miss any of my awesome content. And while you're here, you might want to check out the other movie and series reviews that I have already done on my channel.